the show, Five Star Fam. I'm AJ, and this is Michael. Before we get into it, become part of the notification squad by hitting the bell next to the subscribe button on YouTube. Welcome to another episode of Five Stripe Weekly, and Atlanta United's preseason is almost done. There's just one more match, and we'll talk about that and all that it entails later in the episode. But yeah, we'll get into the match review against Tampa Bay Rowdies. But before we do all of that, much love to our Patreon members, and definitely some special love to Gavin, Jordan, Niall, Andrew Wicki, and Chris James. And yeah, definitely Michael has a new kit on. And definitely, if you have not noticed, you should notice there's something coming down the line along with that will be quite interesting. But yeah, definitely for you guys, we love you all. We definitely would like to see you in the Patreon, so get in there, help us out. We can only do this for free for so long, you know what I mean, guys? So help your brothers out. So anyway, so let's get into the match review against the Tampa Bay Rowdies. They're a USL side, of course, but we beat them 2-0 for our first clean sheet of the preseason. And yeah, it was an early one. I mean, as kind of they have all been. But yeah, this one was a regular 90-minute game, which definitely is kind of a good thing. The other ones were a little bit of a long watch, which is, who's complaining? More Atl Utd, but it is definitely, I think the intensity kind of tapers off a little bit sometimes. But there is, though, I think in this preseason, a kind of, I would say, a theme of where the teams, maybe they're directed by us to play us tough, because every team has been extremely physical and they are leaving nothing on the pitch. It's no matter who's on there, it's getting feisty. But yeah, that starting 11 for Gonzalo Pineda started off with Josh Cohen at goalkeeper, Caleb Wiley returned, Derek Williams, who's been impressing, at left center back, Stian Gregerson, he also returned for a little bit of a minutes break, but or from a little bit of a minutes break, a little minutes management. Brooks Lennon got the captain's armband. Bartosz Slisz saw another start in there in midfield along with Muyumba, and Nick Firmino persisted as that attacking midfielder. Saba, Silva on the wings, and Jamal Tiare persisted at striker. And yeah, it's we look strong, but do you have any takeaways from this match, Michael?
Yeah, you can't take that much away from preseason matches in general. However, we did get a clean sheet. That's nice to see. I think we seem to be improving slightly every game. That's also good to see. We should have beat this team. They aren't really a team. They were mostly trialists. There's no cohesion there. There's no chemistry amongst those players. But like you said earlier, it's kind of the old adage that whenever someone plays Atlanta United, it's like their World Cup final. This Rowdies team came on the field and they got stuck in. They put everything out there. And of course it's because, A, they're trialists. So of course they're trying to, fight for a job. And B, every USL team seems to have a chip on their shoulder and they try as hard as they can when they're playing against MLS competition. And it's definitely us. And it seems to be that was the case again with the Rowdies. And we saw what happened with Memphis and Memphis in the past as well. So, they play us hard. It's to be expected. And it's a good way to get prepared and ready for the season, because we will be played hard by some hard teams. So it'll be good. It's good. I'm happy that it happened. It's just obnoxious when you're like, why are we struggling against a USL team? But luckily we didn't struggle too much. We beat the Rowdies pretty convincingly. There was a few nervy moments. Cohen had to make some saves. but nothing too crazy. It was almost a repeat of the previous game, where a guy got a ball. I think actually not the previous game, but the Memphis game. They almost scored early, like in the first 3 minutes or something like that, just like Memphis did with a long range kick, like outside the box. Luckily, it did not go in. That would have been a tough way to start the game, much like it was a tough game against Memphis. But we ended up winning that one 2-0. Fairly convincingly. We saw some of the same issues that we had all preseason long so far, in that teams pretty much just crowd the middle and try and choke us down the wings and hope for the best. And we have been able to punish teams who have been doing this to us. So our wing play is alive and well, and it's dangerous, and that's good, obviously, because if we do hit a lot of mid blocks, which we probably will in the season, we'll have avenues to attack them through. And then hopefully with Thiago and the addition of Yorgos, we'll be able to cut through the middle more often. I'm assuming Sleece and Muyumba will be able to assist in that more often, versus the midfields that we've had in the past. So hopefully, if we are forced to go down the wings, we will be capable of hurting the other team. And if we can find a way through the middle, our star players can take advantage of that as well. It looks good when we're forced to play the way the other team wants us to play. We can still hurt them. That's always a good sign. It always seems like we have a tool in the toolbox for whatever kind of scenario. Hopefully we will find ways to break down, teams that go into low blocks, because I think eventually teams will start respecting us more the more dangerous we get, move their block down lower. And, apparently from what we've heard, Stian Gregerson, Muyumba, a lot of these other players who came in when asked about the playing style, the teams they came from, and the way they want to play here, and Yorgos specifically as well in his time at Celtic, these guys are low block dismantling experts. So hopefully, if that ends up being the case, which I hope that is, because that would mean that Atlanta United's back and we're more dangerous than ever, then these guys can unlock those types of defenses, and we're not just sitting there watching us hit in crosses and praying and hoping something goes in, and we end up not scoring, even though we have all the possession and 100 shots on in the direction of the goal, but we still end up either losing because the other team scored in the first minute of the game or some nonsense, and we just can't end up scoring, or it ends like 0-0 or something like that. I don't want to see any of those this year. I don't expect us to. And like I said, you can't really take a lot from preseason, but so far we're dangerous on the wing. So at the very least, there's that.
Yeah. And well said. I mean, it's definitely something that we're working on this preseason is being able to dismantle those low blocks that we're going to face a lot, and especially on the road as well. If we are able to impose ourselves, well, that's something that we definitely need to be able to solve. And though I am curious how we are able to maybe do that, maybe from the run of play, or maybe not only the run of play, but from set pieces, from throw-ins, from dead ball situations that basically we need to capitalize on. And I'm not sure I've seen too much of that in variance yet, but at least in terms of this match, we were able to score from the run of play, and I think that definitely is very encouraging, especially our second goal. Very good team goal for sure. But before we got there, the minutes management again, though, with Gregerson, Noah Cobb, the 18-year-old, came in, and boy, he's been having a really great preseason. He was actually, I think, a standout performer in this one, where he looked very composed, advanced beyond his years for sure. And he seems like a player that will see a lot of minutes. If we need somebody to come in, we're not going to be shy to use him. So that's going to be really, really great and a nice feature, I think, throughout this season. And as well, Wiley, just coming back from the injury a little bit. Ronaldo Hernandez, he came in that first half as well. So, but we were able to finally break the deadlock. It was the 53rd minute, and good poacher's goal from Firmino. It was basically a cross that bounced inside the box. Tiare and Tristan Muyamba, they both got some touches, and Firmino, he was able to wait there patiently before he was able to make a turn on the ball in the box. And it was definitely well slotted. And Firmino also having a really, really solid preseason where it looks like he could be kind of that second striker that can be the understudy for Thiago Almada, like we were mentioning when he finally got that first team contract in that offseason, in our offseason. And Firmino, maybe a little bit more of a kind of that all action midfielder, but definitely provides a different dynamic to Thiago Almada. But he knows how to find that back in the nets, that final ball, and if he can do it in MLS, that's going to be really huge. And I think maybe he won't have the absolute ball playing ability that Thiago Almada brings, but just as that different dynamic, it's all against USL sides so far, though. CF Montreal, we also played against them, but it's something that you want to see it against top sides. That's how we can, fully, I think, evaluate him as a player. But, definitely a really great goal, and that's what you want to see, those goal scoring instincts. But anything to say about that first goal?
Yeah, the goal from Firmino, it's not indicative of anything special in terms of our team, unfortunately. It was good on Nick, like you're pointing out, of course, having the instinct to find the ball and to score. But that came off of a mistake from the Rowdies. They weren't able to clear it and basically put it right on Nick's foot. So, that was a gift. And luckily, Nick's the kind of guy who can take advantage of that. So that's really good to know. I don't think a lot of top MLS sides are making that mistake. So that's, take that for what it is. I think that the other goal, the team goal, though, that's something that can be replicated. That's something that indicates, a system that's working here. And that was very good to see.
Yeah, and we'll talk about this right now. So basically, Shauna Silva from our half was able to start the play with some defending, and he was charging up the fields, and essentially he was able to find Firmino, who was able to find a switch to Saba, and Saba streaking down on the right side. He was able to put in a high cross to the back post, in which Jamal Tiare was able to head it home with some emphatic aplomb, I would say. But basically Tiare able to get that goal, and all four attackers are able to combine on this goal. And that's just something that you love to see, you want to see more of. But all four involved, that is, I think, going to build that confidence for this team, knowing that they can break down a team from open play and finish it off clinically. That's a good sign, and especially without Thiago Almada, without Yorgos Giacomakis, that's what we need. And
that's the dancing rhythm Mayumba's talking about.
Yeah, indeed. And so that's the things. Those are the things that in this preseason that we want to see we can build on, and that's absolutely it. After that, the 72nd minutes, Pineda, he pulled most of the starters, almost full line change, where Abram came in, Dax McCarty, Matias Gallardo, who is looking really good. Who
would have thought?
Yeah, right. Gallardo. It's he's living up to his namesake. It's definitely he was running a good bit of the game there in the last few minutes there. Ashton Gordon as well, who he's the new kid. He's about to get that that new contract at the end of the season. But yeah, he and Yorgos Giacomakis seen talking together at the end of the previous match, where the veteran imparting a bunch of wisdom to the young kid, and that's what you love to see for sure. But and as well, that second team looks to be, I think, a team that can, be the, maybe the cup team in a sense, where if we need that, there's some players that can really help us, and especially, when we have all these competitions, and in which, as well, the U.S. Open Cup still under the cosh of like, okay, is it going to happen or not? We have no idea. But so for MLS sides, it may happen, but it definitely, at the very least, somebody representative of the clubs of MLS will be playing in the U.S. Open Cup. So,
I suggest the front office.
Yeah, exactly right. They do have those staff games, and that would be hilarious.
Garth Lagerwey back in goal.
Oh yeah, I mean, he, I reckon he still has the I guess length to be able to do that. So who knows if he has the reaction time still, but we'll find out. But yeah, so this continues Atl United's undefeated preseason. The biggest test will be against SKC this weekend. Unfortunately, it will not be viewable for anybody. It will be behind closed doors and will not have any video on it. So, it will be where there's a block party for Atl United and there's a kit reveal. But, the last game will not be able to be seen. So, cool. We'll discuss a little bit more on that later. But, let's get into the news then. And, so Thiago Almada in Argentina, they've qualified for Paris in 2024 for the Olympics. And so congrats to Almada. He's been the captain for Javier Mascherano's side. And, the U23 Argentina side. Yeah, I mean, they had to skirt a little bit. It was tight. That match, it was do or die. They basically could qualify or not qualify, and they luckily qualified. And that does mean Thiago Almada will probably miss a number of games, probably in the summer.
But the price of Thiago goes up, though.
It does. So, hopefully we can ride that wave, and in his stead, we have, we have a good spell, hopefully. But yeah, any other thoughts on that?
No, just that's good. Good to see. I mean, it's like part of me is like, I wish we could have him for like Leagues Cup and things like that. But like, it is what it is. So that's what happens when you have really good players.
Exactly. And I mean, it probably means Leagues Cup is going to be some difficult ride, but we'll see. And that's to maybe even expect that he's still on the team then. So we don't know. We have no idea. But in terms of the media and Caleb Wiley talking with the press, Caleb Wiley, he mentioned that last year he was still continuing to grow into his body. And he said, quote, "I've continued to grow into my body as a player and as a person. I feel like last year was a pretty big year for me that I was able to learn so much. I got tons of experience with Atl United and at the team level, at the national team level. That's only been a confidence booster. I'll apply that to this season and look to do everything that I did last year, but better." And I love that. I mean, he obviously kind of, in a way, with Andrew Gutman, being traded, he got that, pretty much starting berth at left back, and was able to be the guy that we relied on down the stretch. And it's, he, I think, defended arguably more reliably than Gutman. And we all know what he can do going forward, like his pace, his finishing ability. I mean, it's just something that's really, really great for an 18-year-old. And I mean, it's he's a player that definitely did get some interest from some other teams, but yeah, I think Atl United and Caleb Wiley, I think they understand that it's basically, he's got a really good, I think, situation here where, he's starting, he's learning how to play the game against some really top professionals, and he's going to be playing against the likes of Lionel Messi, on that left side. So, there's not too much better of a kind of learning experience than that, really. But yeah, Wiley, he also mentioned that Atlanta United lost focus throughout the 2023 season and ended up being punished. He says the team needs to go into each match with a winning mentality, regardless of the opponents, and expecting to win. And saying, quote, everyone on this team is up for this challenge. So, yeah, Caleb Wiley seems to have his head screwed on straight, and especially against anybody that's older than him, which is pretty much everybody. But, in the games, he does not back down. Doesn't matter who you are. You could be, a wily veteran, no pun intended. And he doesn't give a crap. Like, he will push you back. He will fight you until the final whistle, and I'm loving that. Like, Wiley is a little bit of a spirit animal for me. I will be kind of feisty on the pitch too. So, I like it. I like it. But anyway, yeah. Any thoughts on Wiley's comments?
Just that, I of all the players, not of all the players, but he's definitely one of the players I have really no concerns about. I think he's, like you said, he's got his head screwed on straight. Everything seems like he's trending and heading in the right direction. In terms of the problems Atlanta United has had in the past, I don't think he is part of them or has been a part of them. I always thought he was a bright spot, and I think he continues to be. And so I'm super happy he's here and going to stay here for at least a little bit longer. Because who knows what this kid's ceiling is. It could continue to grow. So I'm hoping we're looking at the next Alphonso Davies. I know it's probably a little bit crazy, but one can hope that that's who we're looking at.
Yeah, I mean, Alphonso Davies, that's a high barometer for sure, because Davies obviously, at the end of his time with the Whitecaps, he was starting at right wing and scoring a bunch of goals for them. I'm not sure we'll see Caleb Wiley do that, but if he goes to a top side in Europe, I mean, that just puts Atlanta more on the map, and that can't be a bad thing. So, but yeah, and so moving on from that, yes, Miles Robinson, he spoke to the media, and he said something interesting that I think a lot of people were already aware of, maybe, but yeah, he kind of solidified that, and he said that getting to play more games on grass was a factor in his decision to sign with Cincinnati, and he says most players would prefer to play on grass. That's super interesting, but I think that Achilles injury for him really, I think, changed his mind on some things, really got him introspective, because yeah, I mean, it's a pretty big pivotal moment in his life where he missed out on a World Cup because of an injury that happened on turf. I don't blame him. I mean, yeah. So, Robinson, it's sad to see you go, but it also is, seeing that, it is definitely fascinating that you're talking about it. He was probably asked about it, and ultimately, I think we have a really good player in Stian Gregerson and Noah Cobb. That's that can, I think, maybe replace some production. So, definitely wish him the best at FC Cincy. Some ancillary news, but also big in his life probably. Josh Cohen is having a baby. Congrats to the Cohens. That's fantastic. Hopefully it doesn't affect his place in the team too much. I think it shouldn't, but he should be the starting keeper. But we have Braguzan, as the other guy. That's if there are some moments that's there's not really paternity leave in MLS, is there? So it's at that point, he's just gonna have to power through. Which Michael's a dad, and you can speak all about how that is. It's a partnership. It's a whole thing. Like there's a lot to do. There's a lot of sleepless nights, and hopefully Josh Cohen can get that proper rest that he will need, because. Whew. But yeah. Moving on from that, Dax McCarty, he outed a teammate that probably needs some outing, because this. Okay, I'm gonna not editorialize first. I'll just say what happened, and the tweet basically read: "I have a teammate who shall not be named who adds butter to his coffee. He says I can't criticize it until I try it, but I don't want my breakfast to end up on the table. So let's just ask the masses, is this okay behavior, or does he need to be taken straight to jail?" So, butter in coffee. So many questions. But first off, what's your thought on butter in coffee?
Well, I had no idea that people did this until I looked it up. Apparently it's like a nutritional life hack type thing that some athletes and people who are really interested in, like marathon running and other things like that will do as like a breakfast substitute of sorts. Apparently it is incredibly high yield of energy throughout the day. I personally wouldn't be doing this type of thing, but it is a thing in the athletics world. I don't know if it's a common thing. So it may even be strange within the athletic world, but athletes are strange people. They can do some strange stuff, have their superstitions and their rituals, and they think this works over that thing. But I'm curious to I want to know who did this, who thinks this is a good idea, and kind of hear their reasoning why. There's this bulletproof coffee thing that some people cite that's like the athletes. Breakfast or something like that. I guess it's not Wheaties anymore, it's bulletproof coffee. So palatably, I feel like I wouldn't enjoy this, but to be fair to the drinker of this thing, of this libation, they took a picture at it at its worst time, because essentially you're supposed to let the butter dissolve so it's not still in its form before you drink it, and it creates kind of like a creamy, like heavy cream type of beverage, similar to just having coffee with heavy cream, that is not strange at all. So it basically is that, and then you drink it like that and it's fine, according to what people say. But when you see the two pads resting on top, and then you imagine drinking like that, just does not sit well with me. So that's probably why you got a lot of revulsion from people, and orders and decrees to have being sent to jail. So but again, like we said, athletes have their peculiarities, their idiosyncrasies, and so if it works, it works. So I'm not gonna knock them for it. Kind of like what Dax is saying, got to try it first. I don't know if I'm going to try it. I'm not an athlete on that level, so that's it's definitely strange. So I'd be interested to see who it is and what their justification is for it.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I'm not in love with butter, and I know you guys can lock me up for that if you want to. But saying that in the South, of course. But it's one of those things like I like it in things. I like it. I love me a flaky baked good. Like that's just good. That's just good food. But when you have to like really see it and really like, it's just on a level of who's that southern chef that she always puts a ton of butter in everything, and she
Oh my God.
she definitely got some what was it? It wasn't cancer, but it was it was bad. But yeah, you just look that up for me while I pontificate.
It's
But yeah, essentially though, who I think it Paula Deen, that's it.
Yeah.
But who I think it might be though. I mean, the French really love butter as well, and there's some people that have been playing in France that are on our team, and maybe it's the likes of Tristan Muyamba or Shana Silva or Jamal Tiare, who they're at least the first two are a little eccentric probably. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was them. Maybe it's a Norwegian. They also love some of those type of foods. So maybe it's Stian Gregerson. But
my
Dax
guess was Fleece.
yeah, it could be Bartosz Szlisz as well. Polish food, definitely. High in butter in that content too. So it could be anybody. It could be a number of people.
Well, I think the balance of probability isn't that it could be anybody, because if this is something that has been going on at the club for a while now, I feel like this would have come out sooner. I think this is a new arrival.
I see that, but it's also Dax McCarty is a new arrival. So he putting it out there, like he's noticing it for the first time, and nobody else maybe had the gall to out them on Twitter. So, who knows? You might be right too. I have no idea, but definitely, it's all sorts of gross, and it's just not something that I could get behind. But if it works, it works. So we'll just we'll move on. But so on to a former player, Amar Sejdic. He officially signed with Nashville SC. Of course, he spent the last, I believe, 3 years with Atlanta United. And so, best of luck to him there. Atlanta United 2, they announced their regular season schedule this week, and there will be 28 matches, 14 home contests, of course. And, last season, Steve Cook, the head coach, he was able to lead them to an 11-17 record in 2023. Definitely best of luck to the Twos. I think they will probably have as strong of a side as any year, because these guys, a lot of them during this preseason have shown a good bit where some of these fringe first teamers will see a lot of minutes, and that should help develop them as well at the Twos. So best of luck to them. As well, some shouts out to our sister pod on the network, 5 Takes on the 5 Stripes. They put out a part 2 of their supporters group special. This episode contains Jason Wells from Terminus Legion and Kevin Kinley and Mark Nipfer from The Faction, our supporters groups, and definitely check that out. Not only on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, but wherever you get your pods. So, moving on from that, the kit reveal. It is here, February 17th. And it's going to be at Pullman Yards. There was a quick little text thing that you had to add yourself on to get kind of part of kind of the announcements and all that, and be able to get tickets. It was for season ticket holders, but essentially I I'll go on a little personal anecdote here. I was 175th in line, and I ended up not getting tickets. I basically tried 4 times throughout the Friday night that they put it out. It was like 7 p.m., which, yeah, you know, let's just think about it. Your whole, you know, basically office, I assume, is shut down at 7 p.m. So any sort of technical support, non-existent. And basically, you know, I tried to get back in, and they said the event doesn't exist. And it bears repeating. I was 175th in line, and there's now there's a kit reveal, and you know, Pullman Yards, fairly large venue. Yes, it's limited and all that, but and there's, you know, limited parking, but you know, there's it's pretty walkable. There's I would say, I reckon at least, you know, maybe like 3,000 to 5,000 people can actually fit in that venue. But you know, ultimately, I'm pissed. I'm absolutely pissed because, yeah, as a season ticket holder for 8 years, to not be able to get tickets to the kit reveal when I'm in line, that's absurd. Absolutely absurd. And even if I messaged the team on an email or called a customer service, nothing would have helped. They're not open. So, you know, riddle me this. Like, how is this growing the game? Like, you know, to your most fervent fans. Because absolutely, I'm not the only person that it happened to. I was talking to other people. It happened to them as well. I think, Michael, you tried, right? Yeah. And it's just, at this point, you know, with not only this, but also the last match of the preseason can't be seen. And I think that, you know, there have been other matches and all that in other previous preseasons that, you know, have been kind of shut out to the media and, or, you know, shut out to the video and to the fans. But this is the match before the actual season starts. How is this growing the game? I ask again. Because at this point, you know, you're trying to drive interest, you know, for the actual season. And the week before the actual season starts, people can't even watch the game? Like, okay. You also have Lionel Messi in the league. Okay? And yes, he's been playing in Hong Kong and other areas and all that. But, yeah, essentially, not only that, like, Lionel Messi is in the league, and I feel like the resources that, you know, are, I think, obviously being brought in from the, you know, to the league, where is it being used? Because on a very basic level, you have the schedule. You have the schedule that Atl United put out. We've had in the previous years the Stanza and other things that are apps that you know, allow fans to see the schedule on you know, on their actual phone and on their emails and their calendars, which is fantastic. But apparently the answer to that, you know, not being there this season was that, oh, the company went out of business. MLS is a multi-million, maybe billion-dollar league. You're telling me you can't put forth in action for your fans an app that can get them the games so that they know when the games are happening? Are you kidding me? So not only that, but it's the preseason games. It's like, okay, so you're expecting the casual fan to lock in those preseason games into their phone. You're delusional. Because for even me, you and I would say we're as fervent as it gets as fans. It's difficult for us to lock it in. Yes, yeah, there was the FUT mob thing, and it worked for some people, didn't work for some other people. But you're expecting us to lock in every single game into our calendar? You're crazy. Like, it's just, there's too many hurdles right now. And yeah, like, I'm going on a rant right now because I'm pissed. Like, basically, a lot of casual fans have dropped off on the team. On Twitter, Atlanta United was the first team to get to 1 million Twitter followers. That was 4 or 5 years ago. Now they're at 996 or something. Like, it's been dropping off for a long time. And the mediocrity, like, that's what's driving it. So, while there's a lot of fans that, and me as well, I'm positive on this season. But the league and the team has to help itself. And right now, you guys are shooting yourselves in the foot immensely. And that's really what it is. Because at this point, on a level of where, fans can actually see the game easily, okay, it's a little easier on Apple TV, but there's still a lot of things that, look, they raised the prices. What more do we get? What on Apple TV am I paying for? Tell me. Like, you guys can clip this, please. Send it to the league. Send it to everybody that is MLS or Apple TV. I want to know. What more are we getting? Messi's in the league. Great. Why are we paying more for it? I'm not watching Inter Miami. I'm not here to watch Lionel Messi. So, yeah, while it's fantastic that he's in the league and all that, what are we getting more? Anyway, that's, do you have any thoughts? I mean, I know I went on a pretty long rant there, but.
Yeah, I mean, I agree mostly with what you're saying. I don't think we have seen a lot of the trickle-down benefits to the clubs that we're expecting when you have such a massive player like Messi come into your league and the windfall of money that comes with that. Maybe, this is like something that is more coming down the pipe, but you would hope that in a year with all the valuations and the amount of money they got in the regular season and, in Leagues Cup and other things, that they would be able to have enough, liquid money to be able to reinvest in some things in the league that you can then see for the start of the next season, which we may still see going in, to be fair. Production value, paying better, for the commentators or, their staff and things like that. Like, that would be fine. That would be good to see. Paying the players more would be nice, but I don't think that's really going to happen at the time. I would like to see more. Here are the results of, the league reinvesting in itself to grow itself. Instead of what I am worried about is essentially owners and, the franchisees essentially of MLS pocketing the extra money and going, okay, cool, I'm going to go put it somewhere else instead of back into the league, which, I mean, I don't have any evidence one way or the other that anything like that is happening, but like, it would make me sad if that were the case. I just wish there was more obvious, objective pieces of evidence where I can point to and say, this is because they're reinvesting a lot of that money that came in from last year. And hopefully a lot did come in. I'd expect there to be. Everyone kind of expected there to be. So, I'm assuming there is. So hopefully we will see some stuff. I mean, it just to AJ's point, it is a little weird to have, like, it feels like, my high school's closed circuit, feed to their high school soccer games on weekends when we're watching preseason games. It just feels strange that like this is the league that we're in. Like, I get that it's all put together on our own. It isn't like funded by, I guess, the league itself. It's our team is rich enough. We should be able to get some high quality stuff. I mean, I'm glad we have Jason commentating it, Jason Longshore, but it's like I remember for, what was it? I think it was the Montreal game, or like the feed just kept going in and out. Like, what is that? It's just weird. It's weird to me. And then, having technical difficulties with your app and with getting tickets and things for things where you want people to be excited for and want to go to. And then they can't. It's like shooting yourself in your foot. So, yeah, I agree with those points. It's difficult. It's difficult when you're such a rich club and the league is supposed to be having a lot more money in it, a lot more eyes. You'd think that people would care to make it look more appealing and look higher quality product. But I just don't see that. I mean, I get it. Like Miami, of course, is. They went to all their preseason, trip tour destinations and stuff, but no one else got that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, there's, I think, a lot that the league is leaving to be desired, and we want to see the change. Like, we're invested in this league, clearly, but, I think you're driven by the casual fans, ultimately, and when the casual fan drops off, you have your fanatics, your fervent fans who basically, they look like crazies, and which is fine, but ultimately, to bring you to the next level, you have to gain more fans, not drop off more fans because your product is inferior. And basically, as well, comparing this to like F1 and NFL, who are really great at, basically the storylines that they're able to kind of weave throughout a season. And for Atl United, for, like NFL, they're wearing helmets. For these soccer players, they're not wearing helmets. You can see their faces. Like, the very fact of that, like F1, they're also wearing helmets. Like, that factor is, I think, huge in that so many of the players, most of the casual fan, or even, some of the more, I guess, fans that follow it on a pretty regular basis, they still don't know who those players are. I've got friends that have season tickets and they don't know who half the players are. Like, it's absurd, and it needs to change. And frankly, there's a bunch of ideas, I think, that I think not only people that I know, but that I have, but it's a wherewithal if they want to spend the money, if they want to invest in themselves. And I don't know if this league does. I don't know if this league wants to do that. And
doesn't want to invest in new DP slots, that's for sure. And that should have been number one.
Yep. Exactly. And so those are things that further the league and up the quality, and it's where a lot of fans were left just disgusted after that new CBA. They're just like, that's it? Nothing really changed? It's just, it's not good enough, and we want to see a change. I mean, it's just, we're not the only fans that are saying this, but we might damn well be the, maybe some of the people that are actually vocalizing it on a platform. And you know what? It's been about damn time. And so, like, it's like I'm probably even just months late to actually been vocalizing this. But, yep. Anyway, guys, appreciate you guys listening to the rant. You know, it is definitely, yeah. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below. But yeah, that's pretty much the episode, except for the question of the day. And the question of the day is an even bigger question. What do you think Atlanta United's identity is? Because, yeah, we have Gonzalo Pineda at the helm. We have Carlos Bocanegra, you know, pulling the strings. Garth Lagerwey as the CEO. But what are we trying to achieve in this city? In the sports zeitgeist? In the space of where there's a lot of attention on a lot of things. But what is Atlanta United trying to do? Let us know. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below. And we really look forward to what you have to say. But, guys, that is the episode there and there. And for Michael, I've been AJ. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe. And we will see you in the next video.